boom, they'll just, make you one. Naturally. Alright guys, let's kick this off. There we go, the StarCraft 2 music, the epic as we all deserve. Bottom left hand side, our Red Zerg player from Infinity Gaming. This is Solar. And he is going up against the blue Protoss in the top right hand side in this lower bracket final of Crank's QCL Power Overwhelming Team League. This is Trap. So game 1 of the best of 7 series. Again, our first 3 matches are just best of 1s between different players in each team. And then we go into a 2v2 from map 4. If you guys have been watching this, it's the same format as per usual. And yeah, looking forward to see how this wraps up, because we have been casting this over quite a period of time. We casted a lot of the matches before BlizzCon, and then this week it's kind of been our content of the week in terms of just stuff we can bring you guys and stuff we can broadcast. So yeah, it's kind of what's going on. And then yeah, after this, so I was meant to have an event scheduled for next week, but I don't yet, but it will happen, fingers crossed, and all of that good stuff. So yeah, a fun week ahead. Didn't this finish already? Yes, we're casting replays. I mean, honestly, the only reason we're so slow on the replays is because they played a bunch of play days like in the last week before BlizzCon, and honestly, I couldn't catch up while I was at BlizzCon or TwitchCon, and so I'm just catching up on the replays now. So we are casting replays today, which is doing more and more of it. It's such a weird little thing. I mean, just as this game gets up in a very standard ZVP sort of manner, it is a very weird sort of complex of, you cast replays, and some people are like, oh my god, you only ever cast replays, but then a lot of people kind of like it as well, because like, well, I didn't get to catch these live games being casted anyways, so, the fact is replays doesn't bother me much. I was actually going to ask Lima League if it was okay. I mean, if I don't think there's any rules, but I want to ask just to make sure, but I think I might start doing some Lima League replay casts every now and then. Just for extra content in general, right? Because some days there's just not quite the amount of, some weeks it's just slow weeks, right? And just having an extra set of replays or something just gives us a whole extra broadcast, which can really work awesome things into our mind. It can really do really well in terms of just bringing us to kind of, to having a very consistent stream. So I was thinking about maybe checking that out. I mean, one of the big things with this team league was we got the permission to cast it live, but Rifkin also got the permission to cast it live, so it was that kind of combo of, well, there's no point casting something that Base Rate TV is casting while they're casting it, right? And so what I decided to do was, because I wanted to cast it, I decided to basically take the replays every week and to cast it in a European time zone, because obviously this is played in like a Korean-friendly time zone, which is usually like through the day for you. So I just thought by casting in a different time zone, it should obviously give, for the most part, players a chance to, well, viewers a chance to have a reason to watch it at a different time, and that sort of stuff. So that is what we've been doing. Is we have been through a whole bunch of matches now. We've had we used to cast what, like 4 or 5 days of this, I guess, so about 10 series. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we cast 10 series, 10 best of 7s in this tournament so far. And here we are now in the last 2 matches, which is pretty cool. It's going to be a 6th broadcast day of this, so it worked out quite nicely actually. The only issue I have is like, a best of 7 sounds kind of epic. It's like 2 best of 7s in a day can be wow, and it can be a full day of, or full stream of content, right? But then so at the same time, if 2 best of 7s go 4-0 or 4-1 and they're kind of fast matches, you're like, oh, this took 2.5 hours, and now, yeah. That's the issue I always had with the WardiTV team league when we casted. We try to cast like 2 best of 7s a day, and it's like, if they both go like a decent amount of time, boom, you got yourself a good 4-ish hour stream. But if they go really fast, which they can, you can have like 2 hours of content, and it's like, well, it feels like the stream's barely started by the time you're shutting it off. So it's always one of those little things. I wish we could bring the team league back. I have some plans here and there for something like a team league, but it's really difficult to make it work nowadays, I think, as we see 2 queens pushing forward to get rid of that Phoenix. The Overlord will stay alive, and to the right side, an Oracle poking in for a couple of drone kills. There's a Stargate opener with the Oracle, but then into a double Stargate setup, so Trap will start to crank out the Phoenix right now, and look to see what he can get up to, as we see a couple of Adepts warping in, getting rid of a single Link trying to scout. And it looks as though this is just Trap's attempt to move towards the third base. His Oracle's back at home as well, so he has a lot of damage output on run-by Zerglings or anything like that. So there shouldn't really be much of an opportunity for Solo to deal damage here. As you see, 8 more Lings on the way up, the Lair, the Rotron, all of this coming through and finishing very soon, as obviously he will very shortly have to go into defensive mode as Trap gets these Phoenix out, and he'll start being aggressive and harassing with them and looking for as much as as much as possible. Don't think Solar saw this yet. It depends if this Ling was very active. I don't think he did, otherwise I believe he should see it now. Yeah, as soon as he sees it this time, he throws down a Hydralisk Den. It was just, there wasn't a reaction there before to have seen the Phoenix, and obviously when you see this amount of Phoenix, you know it's going to be 2-state Stargate, so, or double Stargate Phoenix, so there's no real reason for you to slow down or anything along those lines. You do see those Phoenix just being pushed away, out through into the center, and some more Lings here from Solo just continuing to run around, see what they can get up to as +1 air weapons coming up on that side as well. Oh, Phoenix gets taken down there by the Queens. The Spore Crawler does a good little job of that as well. 6 more Hydras continue to come up. Groove Spines on the Hydralisk Den with that +1 missile attack as well. And a couple of Phoenix also continue to come on out here over the next few moments as we see a Twilight Council dropping down from Trap in the main base. A Forge will also drop down here, so he gets set up in the main with all of that. So, yeah, obviously just a transition coming through as you'd kind of expect at this stage. You're not going to stay on Stargates and Phoenix forever, right? So, on the transition, the damage here is okay. I mean, you haven't lost a Phoenix already, it's a bit of a shame, but it's still decent damage. It's not overwhelming kind of, oh my god, how does Solar recover from this damage, though? So Solar is controlling it, and, I mean, again, Trap hasn't done too little, but he's also not done too much. It's a nice little middling ground between the players here, especially because these Phoenix will still find some more damage throughout the game, you would expect at least. And obviously Solar is not going to find too much damage himself with Lings, etc., especially as he runs straight into that Stasis Ward, and those Lings are going to be sat surrounded by Zealots, Adepts, and Ascenders. They just wait to kind of greet them when they come out of Stasis very soon. They do make a dive for the main base, they get the Queen. I mean, you get a few drones here a lot of the time. Zergs will just over-drone anyways in these scenarios because you expect to be losing drones to the Phoenix. And still, I wouldn't say he's over-droned here just yet, but he's very quick to rebuild drones, so while he has to rebuild a few, again, it's kind of okay for him because he's not in a rush to get army units out because it was double Stargate Phoenix. It's very difficult for there to be a big push from Trap coming anytime soon. I mean, if Trap was to go for a big push, he'd need some upgrades, so nothing's going to happen before +1 attack and charge get finished up. Storm as well is obviously another big helping hand in that regard. And nothing is going to happen before those upgrades finish up here, so Solar doesn't have to worry about making more units if he can just replace those drones nice and quick. So it's kind of like, it's the weird way that the Phoenix work. Obviously, if you do too much with them, things do get out of control, and the Zerg is still trying to play catch-up when these upgrades finish. But for now, Solar's completely fine. He has been somewhat eager to build a good few units, though. I mean, I understand the Hydras. The Lings and the Banes, well, we'll see how those go. As he starts up his +1 melee upgrade right now. Ooh, the Swarm Host. Okay, okay. Yeah, saw the Infestation Pit coming down. This wasn't quite turned on to the fact it could be Swarm Host here just yet. You see double Overlord getting picked off there by Trap, who escapes out to the left-hand side. And he's just going to sit over there. Wait, another set of Lings getting caught by a Stasis Ward. I mean, this is always fantastic. The more, like, little Lings you catch off here, the more Stasis Wards that go down. It's just 3 units, and it just shuts down a lot of the map control, the pressure, the possibilities that Solar usually has on his side to make this game very favorable for himself. So, Solar playing well, trying to make something happen, but Trap also playing very good defensively and having a lot of setup to really just keep his, to keep himself going well in this. 2 more Overlords and 22 more Zerglings as +1 melee. Comes up to being about halfway done. Muscular Organs finishing shortly from the Hydralisk Den. His High Templar loses one of them. Didn't drop a Storm or anything from it. Obviously, it's not ideal, but if it helps to keep the Templar alive, or even if it just helps to... I mean, it's just, if you're going to lose the Templar anyways, it's obviously never a good situation. So maybe could have found something a little bit more. Anyways, for the first time in this game, the Swarm Host will start moving forwards, but there's a Swarm Host game where the Storm is already available, and I guess there is kind of a lot of... I mean, this is like pure Zealot Storm. There's a couple of Mortals on the way up now. These Locusts don't seem to quite know where they want to go. Oh my god, the Locusts drop on the High Templar. That's huge. All the Storms are gone suddenly because he forced a couple of them to morph into an Archon very quickly. Locusts actually pop the barrier on the Immortal on the top side too. And because this is mostly Hydras, Lings, and Banes, you're very reliant on Storms to actually stay alive. So losing out and not having any Storms remaining, that is a big deal, and that is a problem. As you see those Zealots just kind of derping around, the Banes are crashing in quite nicely. The Phoenix will help out. The Hydra number is not good enough, but Solar, even though this fight doesn't look great for him towards the end, it's still been pretty good for him throughout. I mean, look at him, still got Hydras left over, and there come the Swarm Host once again too. Oh my god, he's going to surround one of the High Templar, the other one will get picked off as well, and Trap just cannot catch himself a moment to recover from well, just losing those initial High Templar to the Swarm hosts. Here we go, Locust popping from quite far away. A few extra Banes will start to morph in. There is Immortals here now, which makes this army sturdier than it was before. Let's see what can happen as these Locusts come forwards. They're going to drop down. The Stasis Ward might help to defend. No, they're a little bit too far forwards. Well, oh my god, I thought he was going to get something. He gets a pylon here, which is nice. Stops Warpins and powers a cannon and a shield battery. Solo will just back away. He's happy with how this is going. No reason to push it in to press the issue. If he can just back away, wait for the Locust once again, and then go for another round of this aggression, which he's been going for. +2 melee coming up on the natural expansion, +2 attack coming up on the Forge. Warp Prism on the way out of this Robo. And, well, it kind of feels like Trap once again. I mean, the Warp Prism is always great, even if you don't get aggressive with it, although that would be a great thing to do when you're reliant on Swarm Hosts as the main kind of aggressive kind of feature of this army of Solar. They're not very mobile, they're not always active to go back and defend. Warp Prism counter-attack would be great, but even just having a Warp Prism at the front to kind of micro-immortals around if anything gets in trouble, even that could be kind of cool as Locust is going to drop down here. Oh my god. The Immortal Barriers are going to get popped again. This Storm is pretty good, and that's the big issue here from Solar. It is a choke point, but he could just back away. I mean, a few Hydras up this natural ramp would have worked wonders there. Trap expanding to the far top left corner for a 4th base because he doesn't really have the presence on the map to expand anywhere else anyway. So he's kind of stuck to expand in what is not really an ideal position because it is very far away, and if the Zerg does find out about it, it's not very likely to stay alive. It's a very open base, and it's not easy to kind of, because your main army's not going to be positioned here to get over to defend. It's going to be positioned here between your natural and the 3rd base. So it becomes a much tougher base to defend than if you had to defend here, where your army being here is obviously very nearby and very quick to respond, very quick to come in and be the answer to all of your needs. As the Locusts fly up into the skies once again, they're going to be heading towards that 3rd base. To the top left side, Zerglin does spot the new Nexus. A little bit of a run by there. Some Ling Bane going to come through and surround those few Zealots warping in, but I think the Zealot warpings will be good enough for the first set of units. Some Locusts getting caught there yet again. Banes roll in as reinforcements into this natural expansion. Oracle will get taken down. Yes, it will. And some probes being blown up as well by those Banes. A couple of Lings left over. This is now 14 workers killed, as we have Lings, Banes, and Hydras all setting up over to the left-hand side. They're going to be pushing up the left and seeing where they can go. And I mean, as soon as he found out about this base, boom, Solar's on top of it. One of the main kind of points of this style that Solar is playing is you deny the 4th base of the Protoss long enough to comfortably get in towards Broodlords, and that's exactly what he's going for. The Greater Spy is on the way up, the Drone Glance is on the way down. Some Storms being dropped over here already just defensively, but now those Immortals are completely on their own. There's one more High Templar coming in to protect this, but I think the Immortals might just go down before then. He kind of lets one of those Immortals get away, but it still doesn't matter. And as you see, the army to the left side is doing pretty well, but suddenly the Locusts are part of this, and that does complicate things. At the very least, will give Solar a chance to back away if he needs to, but it looks like he's not going to be giving up any ground at all. Keeps pressing forwards. He's going to find himself that Archon. There's a Storm to slow down the kill on the next Archon along, but I guess this is maybe Trap's moment here. The Hydra's on their own somewhat. The Swarm hosts on the cooldown. Hydra's still pushing forwards. Nice Prism play. Picks that Archon up when it got targeted, and it does stay alive. Mortal coming in from the left side, just staying alive too. Phoenix does what it can. I mean, any unit you can kill right now is from Trap. It's something you've got to grab at a moment's notice because he is struggling. And if he wants to win this game or have any chance of just recovering slightly in this game, he needs to make sure there is as little Zerg as possible knocking on his front door in the next wave of attack. As we see probes, long distance mining. Trap is getting desperate. Main base mining out. Well, I say that, but actually there's a lot of mineral patches free that workers could go onto in the main and natural. Probably just repercussions of losing workers to the Ling Vein run by. Here we go, Swarmers Locust popping up, and well, they do pop it from quite far away, but they'll still land down onto the army. Let's see what happens as more Zealots are going to warp in here. The first Storm kind of missed. The second Storm kind of wasn't great either. So 2 Archons went down very quickly, and I am somewhat worried about the lack of Storms really still on this army. Meanwhile, Lings are back in the natural expansion. Another 16, 17 workers going down. I mean, Trap's actually just going to tap out of the game because he realizes this is going nowhere for himself. He doesn't have the economy. He doesn't have anywhere near. Boom, there we go. All right, we start to the bottom right-hand side with our blue Terran player. This, my friends, is Cure. Going up against the red Protoss to the top left-hand side from Splice, but representing Silence and Bugs, of course, in this team league is Stats. So Protoss versus Terran. That will start, unsurprisingly, with the proxied barracks at the very least. And we'll see, of course, what Cure does from there. Alright. So, Rux comes down on the left-hand side, Gateway coming up on the upper left, and we get this well, in the next couple of moments. Probe obviously scouting across from stats, gets himself into a position where he knows that this is a proxy Rax most likely. He's just going to double check the corners of the bases, and we do see Probe continue to move around into the natural expansion as well, and again, just a little bit more info for himself as he checks that all out. Cybernetics core coming in on the main base of stats also. So again, that Cybernetics core on the way up. Factory dropping down in this far left-hand side as well. So it is going to be kind of a proxy everything play out of Cure here. Stats will start up his Nexus, maybe a little bit unaware. I mean, he knows what's up though, right? He's still in the main base with the probe, so despite starting a Nexus, he is fully aware that this is a proxy to kind of everything at this point, because there's also no factory back at home as Reactor comes down on this Rax. Nexus drops down from stats on this natural, as we do see an Adept is going to be chasing this Reaper away to the right-hand side. Stargate is on the way up here from stats as well, but we do see this Nexus is just continuing to come up about halfway done. Adept being chrono boosted out from stats also. And we do see the first two Cyclones on the way up right now as this Reactor is helping to pump them out here. Reaper kills a probe. And we are going to be seeing you're having a pretty good time right now. And the stats will shade his Adept down towards the lower left-hand side. Again, these two Cyclones just on the way up. They're going to be the real point of pressure here. The Barrack's going to come in for the high ground vision. Means that you can kind of just always have that vision on the high ground. You don't have to worry about pushing up the ramp before you can see what's coming your way, etc. And as you do see, Reaper Marine, 2 SCVs, and soon 2 Cyclones getting ready to press forward. Stats on his natural, well, this pylon's going to be somewhat important. He does have an Oracle on the way up. I mean, if the Oracle, it seems risky, but if the Oracle does go across the map, he'll get a lot of economic damage done. And he does start up a second Oracle here. Let's see, I think he has to keep this first one at home. But if he does get an Oracle across the map, there is absolutely nothing to defend, and that will be a lot of damage dealt. And look at this, actually, Q is just going to kill the Nexus. While Stats realizing that, he says, okay, maybe there is time for my Oracle to go across the map here. 3 shield batteries seem as though they're going to come up in time. Barracks keeps moving forwards to give vision and give Q an idea of what's going on. This Adept going to get faded back into the base as well. Probes are going to pull, wants to try and protect these shield batteries. Knows how important they are going to be. The next Oracle is now here. First Oracle needs to get active in that main base, though. As we do see the Oracle committing in. There's the Rebel. Oh, no! Whoa, 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 no way. Cyclone lock-on doesn't quite kill it because it gets back to the shield battery. Well, probes are still pulling into this. Those Cyclones still going to do a lot of damage across the map. The SCVs are going down as well, though. So while probes are dropping, so SCVs. Is there any way to actually clean this up, though? Because right now, Cure keeps pushing forwards, and it doesn't really look like Stats has much of an answer. As you see, those probes are continuing to drop. In fact, he just isn't going to have an answer at all. Q's going to have way too much here, and he will take game number 2 off of Stats. And yeah, I mean, a little bit of a tough situation there for Stats to deal with. And but let's jump into the next game, guys. It's going to be Classic versus Dark. Game number 3 of this best of 7 series. It's to the bottom left-hand side. Blue Zerg player, this is indeed Dark. And at the top right, our red Protoss player from Gosu clan is Classic. Of course, today, Classic represents the Kimdo Seongho combo, which is himself, Cure, and Trap, while Dark represents the Salantis and Bug, himself, Solar, and Stats. 1-1 so far in this best of 7. And let's hope for some more epic games. I mean, the first game was pretty good. The second game was, well, it was a proxy PvT game. Get this going in the next few moments. Looking to see how the players are going to open in what is our second ZVP of this best of 7 already. In-game music appears to be fine now. Yeah, maybe I don't really have an answer for you guys, if I'm going to be honest. It's probably something on Twitch's end, which isn't like a get-out-of-free jail card being used here. It's just I can't imagine why my audio would be weird if I'm just running it basically straight through the I'm running the StoreCraft audio through the same thing the piano audio comes through, for example, so I don't really have an answer for you. So yeah, I imagine it's some sort of a Twitch bug or something. If it is an issue, I mean, you can like report the stream to Twitch, and not in a reporting sense, but you can like report an issue. It's like that little wrench icon. You can probably say what it is, and they'll probably look into it or so and check it out. Again, I don't think there's much I can do about it. Alright, so setting up into this game number 3. Classic versus Dark. Here on Lost and Found. To just get this set up and looking to see what's going to be happening. There's a few probes jumping into simulators and so on. And yeah, everything looking pretty good at the moment, actually. In general, as you see the gateway and the cybercore at the front, and a depth on the way out going to be chrono boosted. And we are just going to be seeing that popping out very shortly. Overlord continues to check out, goes through in towards the natural. Twilight Council builds the upper left-hand side of the main base. Link speed on the way out from Dark now as well. I mean, Twilight Council is the most interesting thing of this so far, because obviously we expect to see a lot of Stargate playing PvZ. The Twilight Council is very possibly going to be a Dark Templar drop if we see a Robo soon. It could just be for a Resonating Glaives opening. He moves his probe over here, which makes me kind of think it's going to be something like a Robo, or at least a Dark Shrine. I guess the Robo's going to be real late, though. Huh, he's going to be right in this corner with this DT Shrine. Well, it's going to be a Robo, but then it must be a Dark Shrine as well, so there's just the Robo and the Dark Shrine just not lined up as you might expect it to be. I mean, Classics minerals are a little slow here, so... Okay, but we know what it's going to be then. It's going to be this Dark Templar drop, which obviously turns into an Archon drop as well. As you see, this Overlord going to get back up to high ground. The Stalker will not be able to continue fighting this yet. So Overlord just going to look overhead and keep an eye on what else is going on in this. As you do see this Overlord popping out from the main base. We do see the this Adept coming in towards the upper right-hand side. So this Adept heading in towards the upper right. You see the Dark Shrine dropping down from Classic. And we see the Rotron, the Lair, coming in from Dark. Honestly, from Dark, I mean, it's a really nice setup with the Lair and the Rotron, because you get Overseers available to you pretty quick to help with the DTs. The Roaches are very sturdy units in general against the Archons, so pretty much just is the kind of the better setup for the most part here. And as we see the few extra structures just coming into play. In the next couple of minutes, we'll obviously burst into some action on the map here on Lost and Found. Last little while I've seen Lost and Found, because very soon we will have some new maps to play on and to experiment with. It should be a lot of fun, as you see a couple of Lings going to be heading out onto the map as well. So they're going to be heading out over to this right-hand side towards the bottom a little bit as well. Warp Prism comes out and is going to be moving around itself, also wanting to have a little bit of a figuring out of just what is happening in these early stages. So Prism comes around through the top left-hand side of the map, and we do have a couple of these queens just sat on the third base as we see some DTs warping in. I mean, no Spore Crawlers here, so it's completely reliant on there being Overseers in time, which there is, and so there should be a good defense. I mean, the DTs can't target down the Spore Crawlers, so realistically the best they can do is try and target down the base. There's some Roaches popping out as well. Obviously the DTs will lift up into the Prism when they get low, but they do get Queen Kill, so it's a nice little startup before they morph into Archons. There's more Roaches coming in from Dark. See how many Roaches he continues building here. Oh, that's not a good place to start morphing, but two DTs will actually kind of protect that Archon. I was actually somewhat surprised at that, and then you will morph in the other one too. Wow, that was actually pretty slick by Classic. I'm a little bit worried though. Dark is continuing to build Roaches. It feels like he wants to go for a very aggressive attack. Ooh, he cancels one of the DTs here. Classic, bit of a mistake. We do oftentimes nowadays see when you have a DT drop like this, you go double Prism as a setup, and you really go very harassment focused as Archon's dropping down. Grabs one Roach already, another Roach getting kind of low. Queen being chased as well, a couple of drones just managing to pull away. Another DT warped in, which will want to go in towards this Warp Prism, so you can actually morph in two more Archons, although Classic's control of these Prisms, it's not been bad, but it's not been the best in the world. He's been a little bit here, neither here nor there with them, and he hasn't really found much so far, and Dark is still on 46 drones and Mass and Roaches, and oh my god, he just found those Archons a second too late, or he could have had one of them killed. Might have to pull back a little bit here, deal with these Archons again, but he might just keep going across the map because he does have a lot of Roaches. Roach speed is done, and Aspire to follow this up. Dark's going to go from Roaches in, force a lot of Immortals, and then probably switch into Mutalisks. Well, obviously that becomes a bit more of an issue. Classic's going to keep his Archons on this side of the map, but what on earth is he going to defend with? I mean, he's got an Immortal out, he's got another one on the way, but at the very least I think he loses this third base, because there's no way that Immortal can come out and fight in the open. Archon still pressing into the main base. He loses one of them, so misses the Warp Prism pickup as the Roaches start pushing forward towards the natural as well. Obviously, Classic's going to be focused all over the place. That Immortal looks like he'll be in some trouble. Now, 2 Archons have gone down here. He'll recall the Warp Prisms, but I mean, Dark is just going to start kiting away. He's already killed the Immortal. He's already killed off the third base. He's already done a very good job of this, and now he just backs away into a nice little position. Backing away a little bit, a few probes continuing to go down. Overseers from Dark hanging out in the main. Probes are still dropping just as they were long distance mining, I imagine. There's those couple of Overseers just going to go and hang out. Ooh, I like that as well. Contaminates the Robo. Slows down Immortal production when obviously there's so many Roaches. Immortals are what you're going to be focusing on. An instant cancel on the new attempt at a Nexus on the bottom right. We've seen the... a little bit of a pressure at the front here. I mean, this is the issue. The Immortal has to stay behind this wall. Sentries are being walked in to help out too. I mean, the biggest issue is the fact that very soon there's going to be Mutalisks on the map. We mentioned that Spire earlier. The tactical play to force Immortals, force defense against these Roaches. You know, and then to switch into Mutas is fantastic because it's probably not at all what Classic was ready for after taking so much damage, although these Archons might just shut down the Mutalisk play anyways. Okay, he loses the Warp Prism though, which is a shame, but actually these Archons could get 5 drones, and they've killed a bunch of Mutas. They've actually definitely found value here. 7 workers killed. Well, you couldn't actually be too upset at that. And obviously it gives Classic a bit of an idea. Okay, well actually, Mutas are on the way out, so now he can actually prepare, because now instead of the first Mutas moving across the map, they're actually dead, they're gone. He has to make some more about Dark before he can actually do anything. Obviously those Archons are destined to die, but I do feel for 8 drones, the Mutas they killed and the information they gathered, the Classic's actually pretty well off in that regard. He's moving across the map. He's obviously looking to try and do something before Mutas are really out. So he's looking to kind of confront Mutas by just attacking, because he is still only on 2 bases. So maybe getting up to a third is just too difficult. But, I mean, we saw the number of Roaches. It's still pretty insane. And so Classic is kind of 2 base all in because he's in a bad position. And that's never really a good sign. There's a couple of Ravagers get added on as well, just so you can try and defend. And, you see those Roaches and Ravagers just sat right here and ready to deal with this. The Mutas are already across the map, and they are going to start picking their way through a few of these probes, of course. So this does, of course, I mean, we knew Classic was going to commit to being all in. This just confirms that he will be all in. There's a couple of initial corrosive battles starting to connect, hitting the Immortal barriers, very nice. I mean, the units in the front already kind of going down, those Zealots, etc. A couple of DTs aren't seen because there's no Overseer here, which is kind of frustrating. You can see a little bit of a laughing sound from the dog. I'm actually not sure what just happened for that to happen. I'm not sure, he's not quite paying attention. Just corrosive battles hit or something maybe, I don't know, but either way, it's looking pretty good right now for Dark, who just has to defend, of course, because his Mutas are doing so much damage across the map. Classic's on 17 workers, and these Roaches and Ravagers will get the job done. Boom, last couple of Mortals are starting to go down, the Sentries as well. The Warp Prism Micro will be there, of course, but it can only last for so long as well. And there it is, Classic taps out, as Dark will take game 3 of this series. It's a little bit of a laugh at the time. Alright, Dark takes it up to some StarCraft. We just got to turn the bit boss off here for a moment. Alright, so let's go into this, as we do have to the top left hand side Solar and Stats representing the Solendis and Bugs here going into game 4 with a 2-1 lead. On the bottom right hand side it's Trap and Cure representing the Kim Do Seongho, and they are looking to try and get a revive, because right now Cure is the only player who can play in the all-kill section. By winning a game, by winning the 2v2, they can revive one more player and have someone other than Cure available for the all-kill section as well. Obviously from Stats and Solar, Stats is not currently able to play the all-kill, so if the 2v2, they're hoping to be able to revive Stats and increase the chances of closing this one out nice and easily. A couple of people in the chat asking when will Innovation play. So the Innovation one-man team, that's coming up after this series. So this best of 7, and then we will have the matchup between Innovation, Zest, and Sue versus the winners of this series, and that'll be played out in a best of 9. So, a 2v2 here as we get this going again. Don't see a lot of 2v2s, so I'm not going to try and overanalyze or anything, but what we do usually see the Protoss players doing most of the time is some form of Stargate, double Stargate Phoenix play. It's the Phoenix are just so good in the 2v2 in a supporting manner. They just trade so efficiently, they do so well to control the skies, they can harass really well, and to have an army that can defend against other things on the ground from your, with your teammates, it's actually really awesome. It really changes a lot. So getting this set up and getting this going, as you do see. Probes just moving around, looking to see what's up. A similar is being taken. Gas steal from Trap onto Stats early game, so actually that's kind of intriguing too. And you know what? Trap is very late on the Nexus, but he does build a faster Stargate, so we'll see what comes of that. And speed just starting out, and again, I mean, both players obviously expanded on the top left pretty quick now as well, and a couple of wings working their way through this assimilator. The bottom right-hand side, a second Rax from Q is about to finish up as well. We are going to be seeing his 2 Racks finish. A couple Marines on the way from Q, so his expansion is about to finish. So everyone's expanding, just slightly different times. There is the Stargate coming in from Stats. We'll see if he also makes an Oracle like Trap is doing right now, or whether he's just going to commit straight through into the Phoenix. I mean, an Oracle wouldn't be weird. His build is just a pretty standard gateway expand into Stargate, whereas it was just a bit of a faster Stargate out of Trap. So we'll see what comes up in the next couple of moments. Factory about to finish from Cure. He's opening 2-1-1, so his plan in the long term is to really go in towards some drops and medevacs and really apply pressure from the very early stages. So that's what Q is going to try and go for here. As this Oracle will move out through the bottom side of the map across to the left. Look to see just what it can do. Starboard starting up in the main base. So you see the Oracle about to arrive, and actually we'll find a few probes here right away. Phoenix is on the way up though, so I mean, it shouldn't be long before Phoenix shows up and this Oracle is going to be very dead. With the Queens to help out, the probes even get back to mining pretty quick, although he gets 2 more at the very end. It's a little bit of a shame as those probes back to mining, and those Lings again backing away up the right-hand side. What's up, Alferian? Thank you so much for the 3-month resub. How you doing? Appreciate the 3 months. Thank you so much indeed. Can we have some love in the chat for Alferian coming back, visiting the stream once again. Do appreciate it, dude, as we do see back to the game. Second Stargate's on the way out. The Phoenix production has indeed begun on both sides now. Very much so as expected. That's crazy. When are they going to nerf the Phoenix to make it more balanced in 2v2, guys? There's not been a single series in this tournament where we haven't seen Phoenix in 2v2. It's mental. It's mental. It's just so good. If you didn't have a Protoss play, you'd be in a little bit of trouble. Alright. It's coming down in the bottom right, and he's just having a little bit of a look to see what's going on. Chapman stats being blue and Protoss is a bit hard to distinguish units. I know, nothing I can do about it, dude. We're casting replays. I can't tell the players to change colors or anything, unfortunately. I do appreciate that's a little bit tougher, especially because they're both going to be having Phoenix. I mean, it's Phoenix Wars anyways, right? You can just sort of like look at it and be like, ah, well, you know, if it's Phoenix, who cares? Like, Phoenix are dying, you'll kind of know what's going on. There's different skins at least, which actually might help a little bit on the Phoenix. That'll be kind of cool. As you do see those Phoenix getting ready to try and get a fight here. Queenslings and Banes getting ready to come forward. Lifts up a Marine, but loses a Phoenix for that, and that's obviously a little bit worrying as all of a sudden, boom, those Phoenix turn around from Trap, and he's going to jump on the Phoenix of Stats. He's actually going to get a lot of damage done here. He gets another Phoenix as well. Really nicely done by Trap. Puts himself in a great spot. Was taking damage from Solar's Queens, but picking up those kills were very, very, very valuable to him. As now those Phoenix going to back away down to the bottom side. Another couple of Phoenix popping out from the main and the natural. They're going to join up with the rest of these Phoenix as well. And it looks as though the harassment, the pressure will continue. So all of these Phoenix off over the left side as we see this Medivac loading up. Of course, they'll be pretty safe. Protected by the Phoenix, not much that can pick them off. And Impulse Crystals coming in though from Stats. So maybe that 30 seconds or so advantage on Anti-Impulse Crystals could be what Stats needs to get back in this game a little bit against his Phoenix opponents. If you look at the supplies right now, Cure is 90 supply against Solar's 97. Compared to 2 Protoss players, it's pretty even as well. Army supplies and work accounts are within 2 to 3 of each other, so not much difference across the board. And it's, I guess one of the big things is Solar only has a Carapace upgrade. Cure is going to have 1-1, so it'll be a little bit of an upgrade lead from Cure and Trap. It was essentially a TVZ matchup with Phoenix support on both sides. We've seen the Medivacs taking a little bit of damage here and there, a little bit of back and forth between the two of them. Stats already invested into an extra Stargate. Honestly, Kira and Trap are pushing up this left-hand side, and Kind of feels like they might get ready to go for just a big push to end the game soon. I mean, you look at Solo's army, and it's only really Ling's Banes. If a couple tanks can get into strong positions, Phoenix can support nicely. This third base of stats might be in some trouble at least, so let's see what happens. Here we go, our Terran player pressing forwards. Kieran has got his own third command center finished up, by the way. He's going to move that into position very soon. Queens in the front taking a little bit of damage. The Phoenix are fighting each other again as well. Anti-pulse crystals on for both players. So the Marine supporters, the Banes just don't have Baneland speed yet, and this whole area is also off of creep. And so by being off of creep, it's very difficult for the Banelings to come on into this and to really fight against those Marines. Shield battery and a pylon going down. Marines are still going backwards and forwards here. Phoenix fighting up on the top sides. Lings and Banes keep on coming through. And here we go, those Marines also just setting up here to keep on fighting. Here we go down the Lings and Banes again, trying to come back into this. And they will try and... I mean, they're trying to fight, but it's so difficult to try and fight in this position because, again, you don't quite have all the creep spread you want. Because this isn't a Zerg base, it's stats base, and so Solo didn't want to put so much creep over here, and so without the creep, it's hard for Solo to support his teammate. It's actually a bit of an awkward situation. This tank pushes forward, it's now in range off the mineral line. Phoenix are chipping away at each other once again here. Marines are ready to jump on anything that comes too far forwards. And already, well, here we go. Now the Lings and Banes will roll forwards. This time the Banes have Bane speed, and we will just see a very quick lift up here from Cure to get out of there. Trap will stick around. He'll try and get another couple kills from the Phoenix Wars, but it doesn't look as though he's going to find Team Merchant. In the end, Stats and Solar defend. They push back, and they will survive for another day. Solar has a ton of money in the bank as well, by the way. That'd be really nice if he spent that with cash backup on drones or so. He's actually behind on economy at the moment. Solar down by 57 drones to 62 SCVs of Cure, if we just stay comparing those two guys together. And he's also behind on upgrades. It's 2-2 started up from Cure just a little while ago now. Marines and tanks continue to pour out over here. Link counterattack will find the fourth base of Trap, so that goes down pretty swiftly. These Phoenix now moving out over to the left-hand side, trying to see what they can do as well. Again, remember, Solo and Stats are fighting for not just a point on the board, but a chance to revive Stats for the all-kill section of this bracket, while Kira and Trap are fighting for a chance to revive, well, either Trap or Classic based on who they choose for the all-kill section as well. 2-1 in this best of 7. 4K now played. You see Phoenix spending a bunch of Banes morphing in. Man, you know what? Kira's starting to run away with this. I mean, Solo has a lot of money, but I imagine he's going to spend it on the Hydras. He's also a bit lava-starved right now. If Solo can spend his money, they might be okay, but I really feel right now 2-2 about to finish up our Terran player on 165 supply. Again, the Pros players are in pretty similar positions, so it's really just coming down to looking at the... I say they're similar positions. There's actually a few more Phoenix here from Trap, so that is good for Trap and Cure. Trap and Cure also win the comparison between the other two players again. So here you go, pushing across, and I think Solo needed units a little bit sooner. He's had so much money that he just hasn't been spending. He's down on eco. Now let's see what these Phoenix can find. They get an Overseer right from the start. Tank sieging up as they move forwards. Queen towards the front as well. A couple of tanks continue to set up right now. Medivacs Marines. Phoenix in the sky is getting ready to fight against the other Phoenix. A few Marines will start to stem in. As Solo's trying to long distance find his gold base up there. I don't think Kieran and Trap have much kind of concern about killing it. They want to go for the Juggernaut. Okay, there we go. A few Marines now going to go up. Go for the Juggernaut, go for the Jugular. Wrong Jugular right there. They want to go for the Jugular, but I guess a few Marines stimming up here doesn't cost much as they are already set up. Feeling is looking to try and maybe counterattack down across the map. Phoenix still chilling out overhead from both sides, looking for the opening fight on this. Another tank just presses a little bit closer forwards. And there's just such a setup here. Here you go, Solo's going to go for it. Here comes Stats as well. The Phoenix are going to be preoccupied in the sky though, so the tanks won't be able to do much. Solo is already backing away, but he's already lost a lot of his Lings and Banes. And well, it really feels as though this is probably going to be a very Trap and Cure-sided end to this game. Solo is kind of dying off here, and that means that the Phoenix Wars don't really matter anymore, because the Marines obviously will overwhelm, even if Trap loses out. Trap and Stats will do a bit of a dance. Trap has more Phoenix anyway, so you will always also win that fight. He also has +1 flyer attack. And this was just a combination of being ahead in the game, an upgrade advantage, and more. Stats and Solo tied on out, and so we go to a tied up series for the second. Time is over. It's all kill time. First matchup is Trap being revived from the Kim Do Seong-ho over Classic. He is going to be going up against Dark here in this best of 7. Game 5 Let's see if Trap can put his team in the lead for the first time this series. He's the purple Protoss bottom left on blue shift. Top right, the red Zerg is Dark. He, of course, won against Classic already, so his EVP looked pretty on point in that series, or in that game. Let's see how it looks here. What's up, Wush J? How you doing? Thank you so much for the 15-month resub. Do appreciate it. As you see, this drone of Dark is not gonna get to put a hatchery down. Does get blocked there by the probe just for a moment or two. So will be forced to go towards the third base instead. And a gas pool before the hatchery as well. He's actually gonna hide this drone behind the natural, so he's really eager to actually take this natural. Okay, well, obviously probe did pop up into the main, comes back down to the natural now. This is very smart though from Trap. He's just going to sit here and make sure there isn't a natural taken. So Dark's kind of on one base for a moment here, which is a little bit funky. See how that plays out. Hello everyone who did come out and say hello in the chat. What's up, Heracula, Overflowed, Graham, how you guys doing? Sleepless Physicist was enjoying the serene music. I'm in here, not out there, says Mullah. What's up, Papa Mitch, how you doing? As we get this hatchery down, and finally Dark expands, but again, felt like a very slow expansion, didn't it? I mean, I guess he goes gas pool, then the hatch, but even for gas pool hatch, it feels like a really late hatchery. So, interesting little setup. Hatchery comes down the natural though. We'll see what Dark does with it, as obviously Trap's expansion way ahead of Dark's this game. So Trap just, I mean, already off to a great start, I would say. Dark should have just ran to the third. Yeah, I mean, I agree, right? Like, if he just went to the third, he could have had this hatch down so much sooner. Now he's kind of in this weird spot where he's got money and he can't really spend it. I guess he could throw down a third hatchery and get use up another queen. It is a little bit different though. Alright, couple of lings coming in, chasing that probe away, just continuing to push it down towards the bottom left side. So probe going to be pushed back right there. Dark doing the job of these Zerglings as Trap will go for that pretty generic Stargate-based opening to get that map control and the safety kind of set up here in the PvZ. I mean, the Stargate obviously allows you to see a lot with the Phoenix and the Oracles, but it does really just keep you so safe, and it really just enables you to take a third base very easily because that Oracle in the sky is so good against Lings, which are the #1 concern when taking a third base because they are very annoying. When they run around, they hit the base, and they kind of get it, you know, if they start working away at it, and they get it low and all of that stuff. Okay, well, soon Heracula, he's watching StarCraft while recovering from sickness. Man, I thought I was getting a little bit ill the other day. I was getting a little bit ill the other day. I was like sneezing and sniffling a bit on stream. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, huh. I feel a lot better. Did Dark forget speed? I don't think Dark forgot speed as much as he cancelled speed with intentions to do something else. Now, usually if you cancel link speed, it means that you're probably going to play a very fast leg as well as your gas going to go. And the Roach is obviously a very quick go-to as well. He hides this in the back, Roach Roaring in an Evo chamber. So I wonder if he goes for something like a +1 missile attack, Roach speed, Roach attack. Like, I don't even know, like +1 Roach speed attack timing? It's a bit strange though. I mean, this entire game has been a bit strange from Dark through not just taking the third base and just waiting out the natural through to, I mean, many other things really. Two Adepts here going to shade back home from Trap. They're heading back down to the bottom left-hand side. Trap's Phoenix going to be popping up in a few moments' time. A few more drones on the way out here as well. Lair on the way up, +1 missile attack on the way up. And you see that Robo facility starting up in the natural expansion. So Robo coming up in the natural here, as we do see the Phoenix on its way from the Stargate, and just coming out into the main. +1 missile attack, Roach speed still coming through. And again, this Oracle just coming back in towards the center of the map here. Another Phoenix just continue to be produced. We do see that Robo again coming up towards completion now. And again, a few more Roaches just continue to come on out. So, a few more Roaches popping out here. Drones popping from the natural expansion, heading up towards the main base. And we are going to be seeing these couple of gateways. We're going to be finishing up in the main very shortly as well. Link comes down towards the bottom right-hand side, and we're just going to be continuing to see this scouting around. Third Nexus drops down on the left. Pylon comes up. And there's the infestation pit from Dark. Wow. So, I mean, what does this even become? Like, I mean, swarm hosts are obviously the thing in mind right now, but even swarm hosts kind of feel a little bit, well, I don't know. I mean, it's just all of this being on such a late third base and all the rest of it. It's just a very weird game. And Doc now going to take a word to lead, but if we look at the income graph, you can see Trap's been dominant for the past 5 minutes. Oracle does go down a little bit unnecessary for it to have stuck around so long there, so mistake by Trap, but nonetheless, still looks pretty good for him. He made a bunch of Phoenix, didn't even go double Stargate, just Phoenix off one Stargate here. And boom, he's just going to be coming in and getting rid of this Overlord in the main base. Overlord goes down, a few drones going to start being picked off. Dark now goes into burrow and tunneling claws with the infestation pit finished. I mean, it kind of feels like Dark's just making it up as he goes along. You know, the idea of if Dark doesn't really know what he's doing, then there's no way that Trap really knows what he's doing either. And he doesn't really have the gas to make a significant number of swarm hosts. I mean, the Roach Burrow is definitely not a bad idea, it's just that he cancels it. What's he doing? What is this? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Okay, not the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but oh my god. It's difficult to kind of understand what's happening. I guess, again, that's maybe what Dog's plan is. Like, if he doesn't know what's going on, then neither does Trap, right? How is Trap meant to prepare for something that makes no sense at all? 5 swarm hosts on the way up here. So 6 swarm hosts actually on the way. Temple Archives coming down, Forge, a couple of extra gateways, and Immortal on the way out. All of this continuing to get set up as we do see those Phoenix getting pushed away up through the top side. And they are going to get pushed all the way back as 7 more swarm hosts coming on into play now. I mean, again, Creep Spread just pushing forwards. And we are going to be seeing the, well, even more swarm hosts. He's going up to 13 swarm hosts. I mean, it's just weird. Like, I feel like what's happened here is that Dog's been doing all these little things and, in a way, mind games and all sorts, and then, you know, he made the infestation pit. Did it get scouted? No. And then he was like, well, I'll go burrow, you know. So then you had burrow roaches on the raid, and did that get scouted? No. And so in the end, you know, he's like, well, actually, I guess I'll make swarm hosts. I mean, the army of Trap is not great against swarm hosts right now, don't get me wrong. So I can definitely see some possibility with this from Dark. It's just, it doesn't feel like the sort of build that made much sense on the way to this point, right? Now the swarm hosts are seen. Now we'll start to see what Trap maybe tries to do against them. Just the first wave of Locusts coming in. It's not actually too large, so he just gets rid of a Stalker. And those Roaches kind of looked like they were not going up that ramp for a reason, and then they did go up anyway as Force Fields came down, and pretty much all the Roaches got taken down. So kind of shows you why he wasn't going up there too quickly. Swarms will probably wait for the rest of their Locusts to come on cooldown, or come off cooldown, so they can all fly in together, and even more Swarm Hosts on the way up. Wow. Okay, well, more and more Swarm Hosts coming into play here. Creep still just pressing forwards at the moment, so Dark has very good control of the middle of this map. To the top and the bottom, there's some creep spread there, but he's not paying as much attention to it. I say that he starts to spread a little bit further, but it's the center of the map that's really worth talking about right now. And this is what's going to allow the Swarm Hosts to back away so quickly, escape if needed. So here we go, Swarm Hosts popping up, and they're going to come down once again. I mean, they're heading towards the third base. A couple of them are, at least. The rest now start to head towards the army. Now he decides to go towards the third. Maybe thinking he can get some real damage done if he just drops on that Nexus. And honestly, he might just get the Nexus kill. Locusts are going to get rid of that so quickly here. And I'm kind of left wondering what Trap's plan was, as he just continued to back away. He looks terrified of the Swarm Hosts, which, yeah, I can understand. Swarm Hosts are scary, but you've got to have a plan, right? Because Locusts are also terrified if they drop down on the third base. Man, I mean, honestly, the build from Dark didn't make a lot of sense how he got to this point. Obviously, Swarm Hosts are pretty good in PvZ. It's just how he got to the Swarm Hosts was like, what's going on? And now Trap's in a weird spot where he just pushed all the way across this group without an observer, so he didn't even clean any of it up. Phoenix on the bottom side, lift the Queen, but they drop it because I guess they thought something was going to die. Man, nothing is going right at all, it feels like, as we do see Dark and Trap going to continue pushing across the left side. I mean, Trap's just kind of stuck over here. Locusts come up, and again, Dark just using a few of his Locusts at a time. Now he'll have Roaches and Ravagers getting ready to push the third base. He'll also send Locusts in to support this. Roaches and Ravagers start to back away initially. The Phoenix already queued up to lift the Ravagers, make sure they'll get those expensive units out of this. Here come the Swallows Locusts, though. They drop right down, but the shield battery should be pretty good at defending. And this is a good defense from Trap this time around. Dark will not be able to break Trap here. And again, Trap, he got rid of a couple of Creep Tumors now, so he's starting to push back that presence in the middle of the map that Dark's had, you know, unstoppably so up until this stage. So that obviously helps out a whole bunch as well. Again, Queens, Roaches, and Swarm Hosts from Dark all continuing to gather together. Novacia on the way up and just morphing in. Creep still just spreading through the center of the map and still pushing down towards the bottom left-hand side of things. +2 weapons on the way up on the Forge, Groom Spines on the way up, and we're just going to see again a few more Hydras on the way out, and still this army of Trap just coming up the top side to see what he can do. Locusts pop up, so they're going to flank in from the bottom side in towards this army. I mean, the fourth base of Dark is going to go down pretty quickly. There's an instant cancel, as obviously there's just no way to protect this here. Locusts shouldn't ever really catch this army. They shouldn't even be able to get down onto the ground, so it's going to be pretty good here for Trap. Wasted kind of a set of Locusts there, but of course, I mean, to say wasted, he was backing away. He was no longer able to stay in that position, so it's kind of the point of the Locusts. They're very good at pushing Protoss armies away, buying time in positions. Here we go again as we see Trap for the second time. We'll get this base. This time it's a kill, not a cancel. Oh, Trap's kind of pushing into this, though. He has a Storm to help against the Locusts that just came in. Only one Storm used so far. I feel obviously more Storms are going to be great against all of those Hydras. He needs to start doing something against those Hydras. There we go. There's the Storm. Pushing this back. More Locusts already, though. Last couple of Storms coming in for the moment. There's one or two more Storms available on these last High Templar, and there's one of them. I think that actually might be the High Templars. Okay, there's one left. This time for real. There's the two left, actually. There's actually only just two left. Wow. There's a lot more Storms available than I thought. Across the map, though, Dark with some Roaches has killed 13 probes, so he's having a pretty good time over in the third base. Of course, Trap is still pushing in over here. Another Storm forces the Hydras to split away. Some drones start going down as they get pulled in towards this fight. Roaches and Hydras fighting these Immortals. No barrier. There's the Storm again to help out, make these Hydras a little bit more easy to pick off for the Immortals. Locusts are obviously going to be the real be-all and end-all of this. Already a few of them cleaned out the army to the top side, and now they clean out the army to the south as well. Trap loses a lot. He's still being chased away as the High Templar goes down, this Immortal goes down. Trap is losing a lot of units. Down 40 supply here. I mean, he killed off the fourth of Dark. The work count is 46 drones to 48 probes. We are 100% in a bit of a weird game at the moment, don't get me wrong, but it's still looking very good. I think for Dark overall, Trap has an eco lead, but how do you deal with these Swarm Hosts? His army is nowhere near what it used to be in those Swarm Hosts. There's 19 of them. 3 of them died this game. And when Trap's army was a lot larger, he was struggling against the Swarm Host Locusts. Now it's going to be more of the same issue as we see those Locusts jumping up into the skies, pushing forwards into this third base. And here you go, Locusts going to drop down. Immortals in some trouble, Sentries in some trouble. And we are going to be seeing just so much damage being done. Those Archons are picked off. Wow. I mean, this is just devastating. Of course, he has these Locusts keep on pushing in. Roaches and Hydras to the top side too. Still looking pretty great as well. And Archon up there is in some trouble. That is just going to go down, and it looks like Dark has pretty much done enough to wrap up this game number 5 of the series. Scientists and Bugs will once again retake the lead in this match, but will they be able to keep it? Obviously, this time Dark will stay out. He will stay on. It's an all-kill format. The only player remaining is QS. So anyone out in the chat coming to Home Story Cup as well? Are we going to see any of you guys at Home Story Cup 18 in, well, a week and a half time? Yes, I fly out on like the 21st? If the Sunday's the 24th, the 23rd, 2nd, 1st. I fly out on the 20th. Wow, so I fly out in 10 days. Anyone else coming to Home Story Cup? It's going to be awesome. If you have the chance to come, you should 100% come. It is like the best StarCraft event you could attend as a fan. Apart from like BlizzCon, I genuinely would stand by that statement day after day after day. Like, it is the best StarCraft event you could go to as a fan. It is so good. It's so much fun. We have a great time. Everyone's very friendly. It's just super awesome. It's really awesome. As you have to the top left-hand side of this best of 7 game 6, Kua has the last chance for Kim-Do Seongho. They are down 2-3. But every time they've been down a map, they have tied it up in this series so far. And Kua did that earlier as he took down Stats with a bit of a cheeky proxied factory cyclone play. Bottom right-hand side, our red Zerg player here is Dark. It's game 6 of this series. We get this set up, we get this ready to go. And we look to see what will be happening over the next few moments here in game 6 of the series. God, you guys are really quiet in chat. I don't get it. Like, it's just so much quieter than ever. We have so many viewers in here. What's up, people? We're all just lurking? What's going on? Is everyone still... I saw someone earlier say they were stunned by the Cyril's win. So that was, did I say thank you for your 15-month free... not Zach, sorry. Whoosh. I feel like I really didn't. Did I just completely ignore you, buddy? God, you know what? That's because I was going on my little bit of a rant and I saw you. I was like, that's a funny comment. And then I had a complete blanking moment where I just like didn't actually say thank you for your subscription. But as always, dude, thank you so much for the 15 months of love. God damn it. That was bad of me. That was the 20-minute late sub shout out? Aye, aye, aye. Even Wardy's been quiet today. But guys, I thought Wardy only ever talked about subs. Thanks so much, Wush J, for the 15 months. He's been a legend around the channel ever since he started tuning in. God damn, how did I miss a 15-month free? I didn't even miss it. I saw it, I thought about it, I just didn't say it. Yikes, I'm an idiot. What's up, Jim Sock in the chat? How you doing, buddy? Lunchtime media's chilling as well, hiding away. Hard to type on a tablet. It's okay, I get it. I understand people are quiet. I'm just surprised it's this quiet. Usually, you know, it's a little bit more lively, but it's all good. I know you guys are out there, really. You guys don't have to talk. I guess a lot of the Twitch chats I watch, I don't talk in either. Just usually is a bit louder in here. I was just wondering, is something going on? Is everyone like double streaming something or something along those lines? You know what I mean? What's happening? Why is it all just so hush hush around these parts? Queen pushes out some creep spread out onto the map. A couple of Hellions. Reaper coming down towards the bottom left. A Hatchery coming in on the third base. And, well, again, just going to be seeing the little bit of a skirmish at the moment as we do see 8 more Zerglings on the way up. A couple of SCVs on the way out as well. More Hellions, Viking. All of this setup. And, well, I'm just going to see this Viking coming in and start and pick his way through this overlord. Overlord going to go down in a moment or so. Not really anything crazy this game, is it? The Liberator comes out, a bit of harassment for the Terran player alongside the Hellions. Really very just slow-paced, nothing ridiculous. Dark as well, just getting his third hatchery up. Third hatchery is a little late here. Goes into a lair and a Baneling nest right now. It's actually not that late. It's pretty regular. Yeah, finishing up 420. It's actually not that weird. So yeah, just very standard stuff to start off this TVZ on Acid Plant. QCL a lot of the time will play mech. I've seen him a lot of the time lately actually playing mech. Hasn't been playing a lot of bio at all. So that's been pretty interesting. The Lings are going to look as though they want to dive in here. There's actually not that many Lings. Maybe the Queens were enough of a kind of turn away across the map. Some Lings actually do come forward. They find an SCV on the wrong side. 2 SCVs on the wrong side of the wall after they finish supply depots. Cute little play by Dark, very nicely done. Actually really well done, as we see the Reaper and the few Hellions coming in to pick off a Crypt Tumor there on the right-hand side. Viking Akira continues to move around in the center of the map, and the Lings is coming back home. And again, I mean, what Kira's doing is nice. It's keeping the creep spread back as much as possible, but there's only so much of this that you can really get done here. As we'll see 8 more drones on the way out, about to pop, 3 more Overlords about to pop up as well. And we are going to be seeing the pressure in at the moment. There's a centrifugal hooks on the way out on that Baneling nest, so getting that Baneling speed. Dark not messing around at all, just going straight into that. A Terran player now will actually have engineer base, so actually Kira going to be playing a bio style, okay. I mean Kira, it's not like he only plays mech. I just feel like the last few times I did see him play TVZ, he was much more focused on producing a, producing like a mech-based style rather than bio, but okay, bio will be here on Acid Plant as you see these Hellions and the Reaper coming down to the bottom, and I'm just going to be seeing a few drones. Not really in any trouble there. The Warlock was pretty good with these Evo Chambers. Well, those Evo Chambers are pretty vulnerable. They are the Evo Chambers that Dark will look to upgrade from here. And as you look to upgrade on those Evo Chambers, these Ling is actually going to find us around on the Hellions. He will get it, although... okay, you actually just kill him in the end. For a moment, I thought they would get away to the left. But yeah, those Evo Chambers are a little bit exposed, so as you start up upgrades on these, if a push comes in this direction, you lose those Evo Chambers, that could be painful. So that's something to watch out for as the game goes by. A couple of reacted Liberators here now pushing across the map. Just had that react on the starport, didn't go straight into Medivacs, didn't have enough Marines to justify it yet, so instead the double Liberator can be very annoying, whether they hit in 2 places or they hit the same place. The same place can be frustrating as well, because they can be very good at zoning Queens out from being the usual kind of go-to defense. Looks as though they will split up. One to the main, one to the natural. Just sieges up right on top of the hatcheries. And actually the Queen's a little out of position. That one of the natural isn't going to last too long, but it is going to get a good few kills. No target fire though, and that's a shame because we could have got more drones on this natural. As you will see, the Liberator in the main gets rid of a few lava. 6 drones in total. For 2 Liberators, it could have been a bit better, I suppose. Obviously, it was a very kind of YOLO position he put them in. He was like, okay, well, you're not getting away with this one. Could have probably got away with this one on the spore move, but decided to just sit there and kill the lava. And he was very kind of heavily committed with them, so very interesting one as we see some Hydras and Veins, +1 melees and Guru Spines on the way up at the moment. So we've seen the Ling moving around here to the left-hand side, going to push in, and as you see a siege tank just fires away. Boom, Zerglin gets picked off right from the get-go. So not much going on there. We see the armory starting up a little bit on time, I guess, in the end from Q. I thought it was a little late, but actually his +1 armor is a little bit late. So armory on time, +2 attack will start. Melee upgrades coming in from Dark as well over the next few moments here. As, I mean, a 3-2 scoreline. This is, again, if Dark wins, a victory for the Celendis and Bugs team, and they would move through to the grand finals. SCV moves back in towards the upper left-hand side. A few Marines are out. A command center will finish up here. With the command center finishing, it can move out towards the right-hand side and land over here. So CC probably going to move over there in the next few moments. Queens throw an inject down on these hatcheries in the main base. And again, the Viking count. The Viking just sat off to the right-hand side. As you see, Hydras pushing their way through the rocks here. Nicely done. Rocks go down. And Hydras can come forwards with the Ling Bane. Continue to turn into fight, and a little feeling is going down there. Marines will lift up and come back up to the top side. 4th command center drops down as well. SCVs come in to start mining this position. Drilling claws on the way up on this factory. Going into the Widow Mine style. It's actually Hydras on the map though, so Widow Mines are an interesting choice. This is not the New Balance patch or anything, guys, so obviously Drilling claws doesn't make those Widow Mines kind of invisible even when they fired. So it's just genuinely a Drilling claws play. As Lingbane Hydra sets up around the left. Looks as though Doc can be one of the first to really be aggressive this game, because Q hasn't done much beyond the first few Hellions. And the Liberators, like, he hasn't had Marines on the map, and that's really surprising to me, because I'm very shocked that we haven't seen a bunch of creep tumors being cleaned up, and Medivacs in position to do things like that, clean up creep spread. And it just feels like he's had that potential, because he has had some Marines, he has had Medivacs for a long time here. It just feels like that's a bit of a missed opportunity. As well, some Banes look as though they're going to come through with this. There's a tank behind that wall. The Lincoln Bane does back away. And it's a heavy supply block from Kira here as Dark just picked away this entire wall off of depots. This depot will be saved and an SCV comes forwards to repair it. Viking has been here for a very long time as well, and actually now just will find an Overlord. And actually Dark gets supply blocked from it as well, though he's supply blocked at 195 supply. A little less serious than being supply blocked at 162 for, well, a very long time actually. Kira even comes out of supply block now, and he's still only got 2 free supply. Combat shield starting up from Kira. Jimstock actually just mentioned in the chat as well, but yeah, it feels like he forgot that for a little while as well. So Kira not really playing a perfect game by a long shot at the moment. He's had Stim for a good amount of time. Combat shields isn't up, and he just hasn't done anything with Medivacs and Marines to start pushing back creep spread and opening opportunities. And you know, all of these little things which I really feel should be a kind of a big part of, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much to be done in those sort of situations. We do see Ultra's Cavern dropping down from Dark. It's about halfway done. 2 more Vipers on the way out as well. I mean, this Hive Tech is just coming into play. Adrenal Glands is another example of that. And I mean, free upgrades probably not too far off as well, because Dark has money in the bank. And he's kind of happy. Like, he's got creep all over the map. Finally, some drops start to clean up some creep spread, but I think Dark's going to be pretty happy. He's been able to just go straight up in towards his later game scenario, and he should be pretty happy with this faster Hive and all these upgrades coming through while being under no pressure at all. I mean, Q's just playing for the late game as well. 2 more starports, a Ghost Academy coming into play in the main. All of this is just a setup that really kind of promotes that Q's just going to sit back, hold 4 bases, and try and go toe-to-toe with a late game Dark. I mean, Q is very good at these large armies. He's very good at late game positions. It is what he plays for a lot of the time, but I am a little concerned. I mean, just because he has let kind of Dark do what he wants until now. Dark splits away from the Widow Mine almost perfectly again, only a couple of Lings going down. Once again, very nicely done, but it's just, I mean, we just nowadays don't see Terran players building towards the you know, the Ghosts and the Liberators any longer. We don't really see that as a way to play the game. People have really just started to try and end the game before that stage because Zerg's got very good against it. Players are maxed out. Banks are building. 83 drones and 76 SCVs. Wings and Banes just protecting the group spread here, keeping as much map control as possible. Around for Dark. Widowmines again going off on, again, just a couple of Lings and just setting those off already. Now actually Dark jumps on this army down here. Karasik bombed the medevacs on the right there, and oh my god, he actually gets 2 free medevac kills. The Lings are still going huge. The Heinz back away without many losses. What a fight from Dark. Takes a good little skirmish. More fights like that will definitely go in his favor. This Viking, by the way, has been incredible. It's coming in for another overlord kill so late in. And didn't actually continue to target, so unfortunately they will lose out. Queens come forward to get new group streamers down, but the Marines and the Marauders are there to deny it. But Dark just keeps on expanding. Bottom left corner is his. This forward base is now his. Scanning the main base, Q will see the Great Aspire. He sees what he has to play against here in the near future. Realizing that Broodlords are going to be the tech choice of Dark, but I mean, he was already setting up for Ghosts and Libs, so it's not really surprising. While Dark is still moving around the map, he's happy to just keep teching up here. Upgrades finishing, Great Aspire coming into play, and all the rest of it now. As you do see Lings, Banes, Hydras, and Ultras pushing forwards here, try and see what they can do. Left-hand side, we see the Hydras coming in, and a Medevac gets taken down. Medevac gets taken down very quickly as we see those Lings. Trying to come forwards as well, going off on a couple of different units. The Hydras goes down at the front as well, and here we go, still pressing forwards. I wouldn't mind. Also just sat there, still active, so something Dark starts to worry about a little bit. Nice little Wooden Mine shot, actually probably the best Wooden Mine shot that's gone off all game long, as Dark just looks to brute force his way through this here. Abduct from the Liberators? No, he chooses to Parasitic Bomb instead. One of the Vipers sniped down as he begins to get out of there. A couple snipes and lib shots to help clean up the Ultras. Dark has to back away. Suddenly Q's bank doesn't really exist any longer, and he also isn't maxed out, while Dark is still maxed out, money in the bank and feeling good. Oh my god, that's an Abduct on a Liberator right there. Another Liberator will go down too. I mean, those are expensive units. I mean, these Libs are just out of position in all honesty. These Ghosts can't really fight either because the Ling Bane will just overrun them. Man, Dark is suddenly just taking leap after leap to get ahead here against Q. He's doing a very good job of it. So Dark put himself in a fantastic position. Lings and Banes spreading out into a bit of a concave. More Banelings about to finish here down on that low ground. And well, I mean, the Liberator can, is that going to be enough? We see Corruptors on the way up, so he's getting even more of an answer to these Liberators that weren't here before. He's just going to dive through the Liberators towards the Ghosts. Mostly only a couple of Hydras go down here, so nice little pick off from Cure there in the end. I mean, those Ghosts have to be so careful. Again, Dark moves forwards for a moment or two. I mean, he's only getting better for Dark because he's about to have Corruptors, which will help him to push through what really is a very heavy Liberator number at the moment. Lings, Banes, Hydras all kind of setting up down on the bottom right-hand side, and they're going to get ready to push forwards a little bit again. Oh my god, the Ghosts are all clumped! All the Ghosts go down! Oh, what a disaster from Cure. And now Dark will leap on this opportunity. Widowmine's on burrowed. The Corruptors will clean up the Liberators. The Ultras have no competition. And these Liberators just going down. The Medevacs will fall. I mean, this base will drop as well. Bane's rolling into the mineral line. So SCVs can't repair. I mean, the Liberators will siege up on top of this, but here come the Corruptors, and they will finish up those Libs, and suddenly Cure, he's not just out of money, but he's out of units as well. He's on 140 supply. He's got a little bit to play with, but it's kind of Marauders and bits and pieces against, well, a hell of a good Zerg army. All the tech users just got taken down here for Cure. And now he Caustic sprays down this Planetary Forest. I mean, why the heck not? Get rid of this. Boom. Suddenly there's way less mining available for the Terran. And how does the Terran begin to recover? Planetary goes down. Corruptors move out. I mean, now the Ultras are ready to go again. More Banes are morphing in. 39 of them are going to be ready to go here in just a few moments. And it looks as though Dark is ready to close this one out for Solendus and Bugs to set up our grand finals of Solendus and Bugs versus the Innovation one-man team. Lings, Banes, Ultras all gathering up here. Corruptors in the sky, pushing through into this Planetary Forest. 5th business trying to come on up once again, but it just will not happen. The Banes connect on the Marines. The Liberators are left alone to die before they can even really get sieged up. And Kira has no real option other than to type out the GG. Dark takes game 6, and he will finish this off for his